Hi, it's Nancy and welcome to episode 5 of This Week in Gender. Now before we get going, we need to ask you something. Myself and Mr. Smokin' McQueen, my associate producer, would like to ask you, give us some fucking money! $5, $10, $100, $1,000. Hey, cut loose with $10,000. We'd love it. This is being financed entirely out of pocket and I ain't rich. But we're putting together an incredible show. People are digging it. We're getting more viewers and there's a lot of surprises in the weeks and months ahead. So please, help us out. Give us some money. Help us get some equipment. Pay some of our expenses like rent. Parking here in downtown Pittsburgh is $10 a day. And that's a discount because we're queer. Anyway, click on the links. Give us some cash. We'll appreciate it. We'll talk wonderfully about you on the air. And other than that, well, why don't we just get on with the show?
Warning, the following program contains coarse language and potentially radical ideas about gender. So if you're at work, put your fucking headphones on. On this week's edition,
Sunny is 8 years old.
Ask me if I wanted to go to some tranny events.
As the years rolled on, I went from being femme and make-up-y and girly to being fairly butch.
And this week I want to talk about what a gender queer is.
But his portrayal of Rayon in Dallas Buyers Club was not of a trans woman. Hi, it's Nancy, and let's start this off as we do every week with some news. This is an all-kids edition of This Week in Gender News because you know the Republicans and the religious right, because it's always about the children. You can't hurt the children. Oh my God, gay couples adopting children. Oh no, fuck that shit. Anyway, let's talk about the amazing, adorable Sunny Kaylee. Now, Sunny is 8 years old. Isn't she fucking adorable? Sunny's school, the Timberlake Christian Schools, said that if she doesn't start following God's rules and embrace her God-ordained female gender, that they would not accept her back next year to school. What kind of fucking bullshit is this? Back in my day, we called this a tomboy. They were all over school. You know, I haven't heard that Sunny's thrown out and said that she's into girls. Sunny hasn't said that she wants to be a boy. Sunny is just a rough and tumble little girl who likes short hair and playing sports and wearing sneakers. How is this religiously wrong? What the fuck? So, Sunny's grandparents, who are actually her legal guardians, have taken her out of school and put her in public school. Now, poor Sunny would like to see her friends and go back to TCS, Timberlake Christian Schools. But that's not going to happen. In fact, her grandparents actually have reported that she used to cry before getting on the bus and after coming home. You know what, Timberlake Christian Schools, fuck you and fuck your idiot policies. They actually had the nerve to send them a letter with Bible scripture that supposedly backed their shit up. Now, let's go on from this stupid, asinine, pseudo-gender issue to another one. Let's talk about the amazing Cameron Renfro. Now, Cameron has an 11-year-old friend named Delaney Clements. Now, Delaney has stage 4 cancer and has started chemotherapy. Now, Cameron, as a lot of older women have done, to show solidarity with her sick best friend, shaved her head. That's amazing. Can you imagine a little girl going to the length of shaving her head so that her best friend would feel better about it? Look at these two adorable kids. Now, there's only one small problem with this, and that's the Caprock Academy in Colorado where they go to school. They said that this shaved head violated their dress code. Little girl does amazing thing for cancer patients, thrown out of school because she violates the dress code by not having hair. What if she naturally didn't have hair? What if her hair fell out because she was on chemo? Would that still violate the fucking dress code? Give me a fucking break. Now, of course, they've relented and let her back to school, and her friends are happy, as they always are. You know, there's one common thing you'll see as we do these kids' stories week after week. The kids are okay with this shit. It's the adults that aren't, because there's some mystical bullshit here. Now, we got one more, and this one is kind of my favorite. Let's talk about Grayson Bruce. Now, Grayson Bruce is a normal, everyday little boy. There's nothing gay, trans, or weird about Grayson. Grayson just happens to like My Little Pony. Cool. My Little Pony's fun. They have purple, and I kind of dig purple, as you're starting to probably figure out. But Grayson was told by his school that he couldn't bring his My Little Pony backpack to school because he would be bullied. Excuse me? Since when does what backpack you carry have some indication of your gender and have something to do about whether you should be bullied or not? Listen, folks, especially any of you right-wing motherfuckers that are looking in just because you're curious, which is okay by me. Bullying is never okay. I don't care if you're bullying because of religious grounds, which, by the way, we'll get into later next week in another story. Fuck you, Tennessee, and fuck you very much. But bullying is never okay. You do not tell someone who's being bullied to change so that the bullying will stop. You deal with the bullies, and if they keep coming, you deal with them over and over again. Grayson, what a brave little boy you are. What brave kids these all are for being themselves. These aren't kids that are expressing gender weirdness, being genderqueer or transgendered. These are kids who are just being themselves. And thank God for that. I can't wait till they get in Congress and do some good things. That's it for this week's news. Let's get on with the show.
Hey everyone, my name is Melanie, and this is Trans Rants. Let me take 1 second to say thank you to Nancy Evelyn Gold for inviting me to come on This Week in Gender and do this and speak my mind and complain and whatever. They say words only have power if you let them or give those words and the people who use them power over you. But I disagree. I think words, particularly slang, like I hate using these, tranny or she-male or any of those sorts of things, in this instance, when repeated and framed negatively or as a joke, can only hurt people's understanding of trans people and make it insignificant. When what I am and slang terms for what I am are repeatedly used in the media, people think that's what they should call me, and it certainly doesn't help people understand what it is like to be trans. It's mean and hurtful, and when people become conditioned to laugh at those terms and laugh at trans people instead of taking them seriously. I'm tired of people telling me I'm too sensitive about the subject because I'm too close to the subject, and I don't understand how I can be too sensitive or too close to a subject when it pertains directly to me, and I've had those terms said to me before. It shows a lot of ignorance when people don't stop and think about those sorts of things. I've had a gay friend of mine call me tranny, or not call me tranny, but ask me if I wanted to go to some tranny events or whatever, and I couldn't believe those words came out of his mouth, but I stopped him, and I told him, I said, you will never speak those words in my presence again. You can say them all you want when I'm not around, but don't say them to me, don't say them around me, and don't call me either, any of those kinds of things. Unfortunately, I think that people tend to downplay stuff that doesn't directly affect them, and that's a little frustrating because they don't even attempt to understand why it's hurtful. You know, the origins of those words are extremely negative, if you ask me, and most people. And it's just one of those things that I wish people would just take a step back and go, oh, well, this is the origins. This is how this trans person who's my friend feels about them, so maybe I should not use them. Just, just a thought. So it's my hope that, and they say you take back those words and use them, call yourself that and everything, and it's just like, no, I don't think taking back a word necessarily makes it any less hurtful when people continue to use it in a hurtful manner. If the word was gone from lexicon, everyday lexicon, and I started using it to describe myself, which will never happen, then maybe, but I don't see how that will ever happen. People just don't care about other people. I know this is a whole different subject, but I don't think that people know what they say and what they do a lot of the time. I think that the media conditions people to go, oh, okay, this is okay because I hear it on this TV show or this sitcom or on this drama show or this talk show or whatever, and it just doesn't make it. Just because you hear it doesn't make it right. If you know a trans person and you care about them, then maybe you should think about that and go, oh, well, if that affects them, maybe I need to step back and say, okay, yeah, if it bothers them, then I won't use it, and I won't downplay the significance of the hurtful effect that it has on my friend or whatever. It only makes sense to just kind of go, okay, this person doesn't like it, I won't use it. Just my thoughts. Anyway, this has been Trans Rants. I'm Melanie. Thanks for watching.
Welcome to part 2 of the transmission, and this is the rest of my coming out story. Now, last week I told you about how I ended up as a female and what happened with my family. Now let me tell you about why I am who I am and give you some idea what being genderqueer means. As the years rolled on, I went from being femmy and makeup-y and girly to being fairly butch. And I actually dealt with some major illness over the last few years. And I stopped working. And when I stopped working, I didn't have to be on for anybody. I just had to be me. And me turned out to be fairly butch. I didn't even realize what was happening to me as it happened. I started liking my ears exposed all the time. I stopped wearing the big curly hair that I used to wear. I actually stopped wearing dresses completely, stopped wearing skirts ever. Just started being rough and tumble. And what happened last year was when I came out to watch a drag show, because of course I was interested in a woman who was performing in the drag show. Go figure that out. Actually, I can explain that, but not in this segment. I met trans men. And to tell you the truth, when I look in the gender community or the greater TLGB community, and I did say TLGB, the people who I relate to the most, the people that I feel most comfortable with, tend to be trans men and drag kings. Now, why is that? Well, it's pretty easy. When you look at trans men and you look at drag kings, they are butch because they're basically on the male part of the gender spectrum. Now, I've told you before, and I'll tell it over and over again, I like my 38 Ds. Actually, no, take that back, 42 Ds. I like my vagina. In fact, I went to the gynecologist yesterday. I'm female. I enjoy my femaleness. If I look in the lesbian community, I can point out a lot of people that look like me. When I look around the trans woman community, I can't. In fact, I just started a Facebook group, I'm going to put the link up right now, called Butch Trans Women Unite. Please, if you're butch out there, join us, join the discussion. We are out there. We do not represent the stereotype. And, you know, I have to deal with being called he sometimes and sir. I correct these people. Now, before I realized how genderqueer I was, I would get angry if somebody used the wrong pronouns. Now I kind of shrug it off and just except that, well, if I'm going to be butch, a lot of butch lesbians are called he by accident. In fact, if you ask me, being a butch lesbian is the fine art of looking like a teenage boy. Butch is okay. Why can't a trans woman do anything a cisgender woman can do? I mean, a lot of us would have children if we could. One of the most amazingly weird things I hear from cisgender women is when I say I wish I had a period, and they go, "Oh, no, you don't. It's such a pain." No, I wish I was really all girl. I wish I had a uterus. I wish I had fallopian tubes and ovaries and everything that it means to be female. I can't. I can only do what I can do, and I've done as much as I can, and I live my life the way I do. I'm unapologetic about being butch. Do I think everyone should be butch? Hell no, that would be uninteresting. I love when I see a trans woman that's living her life and being exactly who she wants to be that really femme or really butch. For me, at 50 years old, I am what I am, and that's all that I am. No, I'm not Popeye, and I don't have an olive oil in this world. But I am butch. That's who I've become. I became that because 21 years after going on hormones, I settled into being comfortable enough with just being me. So, if you're out there, if you're thinking about transition, and in the back of your head, you think that you may be too tall, you may be too fat, you may be too lesbian, you may be too butch, or maybe you're too femme. However you feel, if you feel that you're female, you deserve to live the life you want to live. I'm living the life I want to live now, and I gotta tell you, after a little adjustment, I'm pretty comfortable with the fact that I'm genderqueer. Genderqueer just means that I don't fit into anyone's boxes. Now, I'll say one more thing. Yes, I'm here on YouTube and soon other distribution methods talking to you about gender. And some people might look at me and go like, but that's not a trans woman. I am a trans woman. I'm a butch trans woman. Yes, I do not represent a stereotype. And please and thank you, I'm glad I don't. You don't have to be a stereotype either. Be yourself. Transition means moving to who you really are. And if who you really are is butch, welcome. We greet you with open arms. If who you really are is femme, we greet you with open arms too. And that's all for the transmission. Thanks.
Hey guys! So, as I promised, every week I'm going to be bringing you different subject matter. And this week I want to talk about what a genderqueer is. A genderqueer individual is someone who doesn't identify with the gender binary. Now, that's fact, and that's part of what the definition is. In my opinion, someone that is genderqueer falls underneath the inclusionary trans umbrella. What I'd like to show you is a really interesting video from a really interesting girl that I saw this week on YouTube. Her name is Ashley Wild, and I'd like you to just watch her video because she's so well spoken and it's such a fantastic explanation. So go ahead and watch.
Hey everyone, it's Ashley. I know I haven't made a video in a long time, and here I am today trying to make up for that. This is a video that I've been wanting to do for a really long time. Or I guess I should say it's a video I've been thinking about doing for a really long time because I've really gone back and forth. I'm open about my gender identity. I have it listed in my frequently asked questions on Tumblr. I am a part of a group on campus where I go and speak on panels openly about my sexuality and gender identity. It is not something that I at all hide, but it's still scary every single time I put myself out there in a new and big way. So here it is. Let's start by establishing the fact that in the United States of America, we culturally enforce a gender binary. On one side, we have masculine. Some things that we attribute to being masculine are being rugged, being stoic, being interested in sports, knowing how to work on cars, being a gentleman. And on the other side, feminine. Some things that we attribute to being feminine are dresses, the color pink, household chores, being a mother or having children. An important concept to understand is that not all women are gentle and soft-spoken and beautiful and good at cooking, and not all men are rugged and emotionless and stoic and good at working on cars. But that is what the media tells us the average man and woman are like. Another important distinction is that this only applies to the United States. In other countries, masculine and feminine mean different things and are reinforced differently. So what is genderqueer? What does it mean? It's a term that definitely means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. I can only really give my personal definition of it. To me, it means that my identity, my person, myself, who I am inside my head, and the way I feel and the things I like and what makes me feel most comfortable, it's not masculine or feminine. In my case, it's both. I like to wear baggier clothes. I tend to like clothes that are trendy in men's fashion. I like to take things apart and learn how they work. I like playing video games, but I also like shopping, and I'm very nurturing, and I want to have kids and be a mother. And these things inside our community contradict each other, but they don't contradict each other inside me. I started questioning gender when I cut my hair short. I handed a pair of scissors to my friends and I said, cut my hair off. I'm ready to take the leap. I had been wanting to cut my hair short for a while, and I was scared. I was scared, rightly, of the way that society would react to me. I was scared of the negative consequences of expressing myself in the way that I felt most comfortable. But I did it. I took the leap, I took the plunge, I cut all my hair off. And what happened instantly is that people started misgendering me. I would go in public and the guy at Subway would call me pal. Or I would go to take my girlfriend out to dinner and the check would be handed to me. Here you go, thank you very much, sir. And it was always these people, I wouldn't even call them acquaintances, people that I don't know, that don't know me, that I don't have time or a chance or an opportunity to explain to them, hey, I'm actually not a guy, this is just the way that I feel comfortable dressing, or hey, I don't identify as a man, but I just really like my hair short. I didn't get to have those conversations, and it really was hard for me at first. I talked about this a lot in my video, Is That a Boy or a Girl? And I'll put a link so you can hear more about how I dealt with those situations. But those kinds of situations made me uncomfortable because they were putting me inside a box that I didn't feel like I belonged in. They were saying, you look like a boy, so you're a boy. You look like a man, so you're a man. You look like that, so you must want to be a boy or a man. And I didn't. And I still don't. But sometimes people say things to me like, oh, that's so girly, or, don't be such a wimp. And I don't like that either. So I had these boxes, right? Masculine and feminine. And I just didn't feel good in either of them. I didn't feel like who I was matched up with society's definition of feminine. And I didn't feel like it matched up with masculine either. And it was scary. And it was hard and it was confusing. And I was like, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just me. I'm just Ashley. I just like these clothes. I just like this haircut. I just like these things. It's not because I'm a girl. It's not because I want to be a boy. I just am. And I'm not the one with the problem. I'm not. I'm just living my life. I'm just comfortable with myself, my body, my expression. I'm okay. The problem is with society, because society sees a person like me and they say, you have a problem. You don't fit in the 2 check boxes that I have for you. And since I don't know what to do with you, you need to change. You need to pick one. Those were some of the most confusing months of my entire life. But when I came out on the other side, I realized a couple things. One is that if I'm healthy, well-adjusted, happy, and living my life the way I want to live it, I don't have to change anything. I don't have to wear dresses so somebody else thinks that I'm feminine. I don't have to do it. I don't have to prove to anyone that my masculine traits are acceptable. I'm okay with me. And that's a very personal experience. Not everybody feels that way, but that's how I feel. And that was a huge takeaway from that experience. And the other thing that I realized is that it's hard to talk about. Even knowing that, and even having been through that, I find myself in situations where I'm uncomfortable because I know that the other person is uncomfortable comfortable with my presentation or my gender identity and my gender expression. And that is hard. And that is why I haven't made this video yet. But I'm making it now. This semester I'm taking a class called Gender and Communication. And in one of the chapters we read, there was one paragraph about people who grew up feeling like they didn't belong on the gender binary. And a sentence from that paragraph really hit me and stuck with me. For people who do not fit the conventional sex and gender roles, it is hard to find role models, and equally difficult to find acceptance from family, peers, and society. I want people to be able to see that it's possible to be gender non-conforming, to identify off the binary, and be a well-adjusted, happy, successful person. I don't have a sad life. I'm not sad. I have problems, but I'm a human. I feel this way, and I present this way, and I'm okay, and I want you to be able to be okay. If you're watching this video and you understand what I'm talking about, then this is for you. And I'm sorry that it took me so long to make it. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed watching that. I know I did. Ashley's a really well-spoken, bright, genderqueer individual. She knows who she is, and I'm proud of her for speaking up and giving that explanation. And I'm sure she would be happy to answer any questions you have. If you have any questions for me, just ask. Bye.
Suck my non-existent.
Why am I smiling? Well, it's my favorite part of the show. Welcome to the 5th edition of Suck My Non-Existent Cock. Now, I have to be honest. Sometimes I don't know who my deserving asshole is going to be until moments before I do the show. But you know, it seems that always some mystical power comes down and hands me the right person. This week it was a surprise. My deserving asshole of the week is the Academy Award-winning actor, Jared Leto. Now, let's talk about why Jared is deserving of this. Now, I don't know if we should blame his portrayal on the director, the casting director, the producer, or Jared himself. But his portrayal of Rayon in Dallas Buyers Club was not of a trans woman. It was a stereotype somewhere between a drag queen and a transvestite. They showed him as coming through the gay male community, which, I will be honest, some trans women do, and many, and if not most, drag queens do. However, this does not show the trans experience. Now, if we can forgive his portrayal, we can't forgive that he did not thank the trans community in his acceptance speech at the Academy Awards. This was the first time where I actually started getting miffed with Jared. Now, what makes him deserving is what happened just 6 days after the Academy Awards. He did an interview with the UK Standard where he said he actually considered going to the Academy Awards in drag. Can you imagine what would have happened if that occurred? It wouldn't just be the trans media and a lot of the gay and lesbian media that's beating up on Jared. It would have been the mainstream media. They had said that basically him doing drag is almost like Al Jolson doing blackface. And this is the first time where I felt like it might be real. Now, Jared has also made other comments, talking about how he feels about having your, quote, dick cut off. Also talking about how painful Brazilian waxes are, and that girls, you all know about that. Jared, shut the fuck up, okay? You used us, you did a poor portrayal, it's done. You got an Academy Award, put it on the shelf, and just go on to your next project. Basically, I feel like this is what Jared is saying to us. So Jared, unfortunately, I'm going to have to ask you this question. From Los Angeles, California, where I joined the gay and lesbian community to help with the AIDS crisis. From San Francisco, California, where I came out as the woman who I am today. From Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where we produced this TV program. Jared, from the depths of my soul, from the deepest part of all my depravity. Jared Leto, this week you may suck my non-existent cock. That's all we have for this week. Catch you on the flip next week. Thanks for watching. Hi, it's Nancy. Let's go ahead and get some plugs out of the way. First of all, Dude, Where's My Chest? 4 deserving trans men need top surgery. Go ahead and click on this link, get to meet them, get to know them, and give them some money. Speaking of money, we need your money. Help us out. No one's paying us to do this. No one buys our equipment or pays our expenses. We rely on donations, and they've been pretty thin. So give us $5, $10. You like the show, help us out. Don't buy that box of jujubes. Give us $5 instead. Also, you want to follow me? Follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, or Facebook. And follow the project, facebook.com/genderdances. Now, one last thing. The Gender Dances Project is expanding. We need help behind the camera and in front of the camera for several new projects that are coming up here in Pittsburgh. We're going to be producing short films for a couple of organizations. We also need help. We're looking for interns. If you're in Pittsburgh, go ahead, hit us up. You can email me at this address or hit me up on Facebook. Now that's all we're going to plug this week. Here come the credits. We'll catch you next week. Thanks again for watching.